Bioscience Boardroom. Assembling your team. When it comes to vaccine development, Hollywood may have exaggerated the whole process somewhat. Outbreak movies often show humanity scrambling in a global cooperative effort to solve the genetic mystery of the latest deadly virus or bacteria, pulling off the impossible at the last minute to save mankind. What Hollywood can depict in a 30-second montage of white coats and beakers is a process that can take years to decades, if at all. In truth, the journey from concept to commercialization is a complex roadmap between private sector organizations, regulatory bodies, commercial interests, investors, scientists, and academics. To navigate this intricate process and get the project over the line, there's one thing that's almost as important as the vaccine itself: the team. Assembling the right people around you can make or break a project. So how do you get the right people in your team? Welcome to Bioscience Boardroom, the convergence of the lab and the executive process. The brainchild of scientist turned high-powered business consultant Susan Goebel, Bioscience Boardroom bridges the gap between the sciences and the complex world of business operations through sound market knowledge and the strategic mentorship of a proven professional. If you're a scientist, business owner, or even a hopeful entrepreneur trying to upskill your corporate acumen, you've come to the right place. Bioscience Boardroom, it's the smart decision. In this video series, we explore both the timeline of the 2000 Walkerton E. coli 0157 outbreak and the years of private and government investment spent in preventing future outbreaks. We analyze funding models, research development, and bureaucratic red tape, all in the search for biomedicine's holy grail, a vaccine. So in this, the second video of the series, we follow how a microbiologist took his vaccine from idea to proof of concept to the first stages along the commercial path. We explore the players involved in getting the project moving and then discuss the different ways you can effectively build a team of the right people around you. Eureka! A Canadian microbiologist was out on his morning run one morning after hearing about the rise of patients at his wife's pediatric clinic with renal failure. He'd seen this before, an unfortunate yet classic symptom of E. coli infection. This got him thinking. E. coli 0157 is especially virulent and unique amongst other related E. coli strains. With the toxin produced by these bacteria, it only requires 8 to 10 E. coli-infested cells to make someone sick. That's compared to Salmonella, which requires thousands of bacteria for an infection to take hold. It's a problem that farmers in places like the Salinas Valley in California know all too well. As E. coli finds its way inside the cells of plants like lettuce, no matter how much washing you do, the bacteria remain in the leaves. Another interesting characteristic of this nasty little bacteria is its quirky lifestyle. Living in a cow's gut, the E. coli bacteria begins its furious replication phase at the point right before excretion. It's how a single E. coli bacterium can turn into millions in just one quick cow bowel movement. Back to our marathon-running microbiologist. He had the idea to disrupt the E. coli life cycle by exploiting a specific characteristic of the 0157 strain, blocking the attachment of the bacteria to the bovine gut and stopping the replication phase dead in its tracks. Spurred on by the possible ramifications of his discovery, the eager scientist rushes to his lab and develops a prototype of the product, a small-sized concept of under 20 liters in what's known as a benchtop level. The science checks out in the lab, but he needs to test the product in a host. Testing in progress. Our scientist took his product to a contract research organization that had links within the veterinary sciences. Through here, he was able to facilitate small-scale animal trials of the vaccine to test. With the vaccine proving effective, the microbiologist had the proof of concept to move to the next phase. Scaling up. Finding a suitable manufacturer to scale the benchtop level fermentation processes up to a commercial level isn't easy. Taking a 20-liter concept and ramping production up to 1,000 to 5,000 liters is a feat in itself. But despite the difficulty, the team located and signed contracts with a manufacturer to produce the product. With the various cogs of production beginning to turn, the final piece of the puzzle was the commercialization. Sponsorship. A vaccine has to be profitable, regardless of how deadly or debilitating the causative virus is itself. But the price of its development, production, and distribution is mind-blowingly expensive, with some human vaccines and drugs estimated to have cost between $1 to $2 billion to develop. For this reason, a commercial arm is required to fund and manage the project with the surety that the payoff at the end will be worth it. An animal health company with vested interests in eliminating E. coli infections was approached and pitched the vaccine concept. There was much debate and discussion about the pros and cons of taking on the development of this vaccine. Many team members didn't think it would be commercially viable. Why would farmers pay to have their cows vaccinated if the bacteria caused no harm to their livestock? Ultimately, the team decision was to proceed, and the vaccine project was approved for development. Now the success or failure of this project ultimately lives and dies by the people around it. Teamwork. One of the most important things needed for a cohesive, successful team is united passion and alignment in vision and purpose. Naysayers, negative people, and problem finders do more to derail a project than to support it. When it comes to assembling the right team, there are a few personality types, leadership styles, and concepts that we need to understand. The first is the notion of the tribe. The tribe. Tribes are a concept which have been around for as long as humans have. We're tribal by nature. And while the literality of the term is diluted over the millennia, we still operate within tribes to a certain degree. It's our circle of friends, our sports team fan base, and our workplace. It's any set of people who share common interests, goals, or beliefs. Tribal stages. Not all tribes are the same, and what makes the difference is the culture. John King famously categorizes these varying cultures into stages numbered 1 to 5. These stages represent the evolving attitude of people from a negative narcissistic worldview all the way to a stage 5 tribe that seeks to help other tribes or groups of people with no thought of reward or recognition. Stage 1 tribes believe life is against them. The system is broken, so why bother? They systematically sever relationships with other tribes and form dysfunctional groups and gangs. One step up to stage 2, and this tribe is a little more positive, comprising of around 25% of the workforce. While they're still negative in their evaluation of their own prospects, they're not completely disconnected. They enjoy playing the martyr at the expense of motivation and ambition. The majority of people, especially in the business world, operate within a stage 3 tribe. It's a culture of self-improvement, but at the same time driven by competitiveness. It's a mentality of needing to be, or appearing to be, better than most other people. In this tribe, you'll often find braggers and one-uppers. People that validate their success measured against others and are driven by that need. While you definitely find productivity and creative excellence in Stage 3 tribe members, and you need genuinely capable people like this in your organization, the self-serving culture can be limiting. Stage 4 tribes tend to lose their ego at the front door. Creativity, collaboration, and learning is prioritized instead of individual greatness. The collective skill of a Stage 4 tribe far outperforms the sum of their talents and ability. Tribal members are united through a common core value, interest, or goal. They have a personal motivation and fulfillment aligned with the project. Stage 5 tribes share most of the same qualities as Stage 4, but they leap beyond being in competition with others and see themselves in competition against a greater social cause. Examples of a Stage 5 tribe would include Bishop Desmond Tutu's Truth and Reconciliation meetings in South Africa, an initiative in which Tutu was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. The two core values, truth and reconciliation, meant that the entire tribe was focused under these two noble causes. The results of these talks avoided civil wars, which continue to plague many neighboring African nations. Tribal leadership. The majority of projects and workplaces are a mix of tribes at different stages, trying desperately to work with and despite each other. A mediocre leader sticks to his own tribe, doubling down on whatever culture exists within his or her bubble. On the other hand, an effective leader can communicate, network, and inspire different tribes to work together efficiently. An interesting part of tribe culture is a little-known fact about receptiveness. Tribes can only hear, understand, or get on board with ideas and concepts from a tribe one stage above and below where they are. Stage 3 tribe members can communicate with Stage 2 and 4, but Stage 1 wouldn't be motivated or interested by anything from a Stage 3 tribe. This is where good tribal leadership comes into play. Good leaders can nudge tribes to advance to the next level, inspire them to seek out qualities that elevates their culture. They can then network differently staged tribes together that previously couldn't or wouldn't communicate. Quantifying culture. An organizational culture is the shared assumptions, values, and beliefs that guide the actions of its members. Organizational culture tends to be shaped by the founder's values, the industry and business environment, the national culture, and the senior leader's vision and behavior. According to a 1994 study by J.A. Chapman and K.A. Jen, culture can be defined by 7 distinct and primary characteristics: innovation, stability, people orientation, outcome orientation, easygoingness, detail orientation, and team orientation. Organizations like Culture Index use these behaviors to measure and quantify the people in an organization. Likewise, other methods for personality, behavior, and performance testing are available. The Kolbe Index identifies and measures the patterns of actions, or modus operandi, of an individual. It's a series of questions designed to test a person's desire, motivation, and drive, based on the research-backed assumption that all individuals possess the same creative potential. It can be used by leaders to identify strengths, design coaching and teaching methods, and avoid HR nightmares. Similarly, organizations such as Gallup use a Clifton Strengths Matrix to identify talents and compatibility. A total of 34 qualities spread over 4 domains, including the executing domain, the influencing domain, the relationship-building domain, and the strategic thinking domain. It allows leaders and managers to group skilled individuals to streamline collaboration and drive motivation. Hindsight. Do you think all of these characteristics, team concepts, and leadership qualities were factored and considered when our biochemist was going through the early stages of research and assembling the team to develop and deliver the E. coli vaccine? You'll find out in the next episode. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. For a closer look at the brains behind Bioscience Boardroom and to explore a range of her qualifications, achievements, and services, be sure to check out Susan's website at www.susangoebel.ca. Keep checking in for the next video in the Bioscience Boardroom series.